I just spent the past bloody 2 hours fiddling about trying to get my PlayStation 2 sort of upscaled using various upscaler boxes and component to HDMI boxes and blah 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 and all that kind of crap that nobody really cares about apart from me. And when I was doing so, I remembered that there's something I've yet to try, and that was to plug in the Xbox One into the PVR that I've got just to see if it works out of the box. Can't remember what I'm supposed to do with this. Oh, I got to overtake cars, right? Yeah, surprisingly, big thumbs up. Has to be said, as I'm not really a fan of the Xbox One now, in light of everything that's come out, but it actually works with the PVR, completely connected up out of the box. There's no need for me to plug it in through a HDMI splitter, which is what I needed to do with the PS4 and the PS3 because of the encrypted HDMI. So I'm kind of curious now as to whether or not this has got encrypted HDMI, because I thought all Blu-ray players had. But there we go, that's just technology I've not looked into yet. But yeah, I mean, should there ever be a game that comes out now that I feel I want to sort of keep in my YouTube gaming photo album, video album type thing that I'm basically doing as my life is getting past me, and you get older and you have a kid and you want to start remembering stuff, and if provided YouTube doesn't fuck up and lose everything, I should have a nice collection of fond gaming memories to go back on. I mean, that's why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it for the monetization that some people sort of do it for and whatnot. But yeah, double thumbs up, well done. I don't need to plug this in through a HDMI splitter, which is one of the redeeming features, I'd have to say, about the Xbox One. I mean, with regards to resolution and stuff like that, I know there's plenty of that crap online at the moment, but I never bother with anything above 720p because I can't be arsed with the file sizes on my laptop. To be perfectly honest, I never watch anything in 720p anyway. I always watch it in the lowest resolution when I'm on YouTube. That's just me. I mean, if I'm downloading something, if I'm using a ripper and I want to download some great videos, you know, to watch on the TV, I'll download it in 720p, and I guess this makes it available for that. If I ever feel like I should download what I've uploaded, I know I can play it straight on TV without the power of the internet. But and I guess that's perhaps a good thing, considering the fact that they can't seem to get Xbox One games apart from, I think this one, doesn't Forza 5, isn't that 1080p 60 frames per second? And other games they're struggling with, unless of course you've got them on the PS4, which seems to work like a current gen console should work. You know, it's not going to be a rival for a PC, as I'm sure any PC master race will tell you. However, the closest thing I find to what I would call current gen gaming would be the PS4 for the moment. If you can't get me Tomb Raider running at 60 frames per second or up to 60 frames per second and running nice and smoothly and having that sort of sheen on my screen, then you should be fucking ashamed of yourselves, because that's what these consoles are supposed to be. I paid more money for the fucking Xbox One than I did for the PS4. I had to buy a toy for it, which is the Kinect 2, which I didn't want. Don't want to ever have to take out of its box, which is exactly where it's stayed since fucking day one. And I did get a day one console. And it turns out the cheaper console, the one I thought, well, I may as well get it because I'm stupid and I've been given a credit card. And that way I can play exclusives. Because I did wonder, would there be any exclusives to, you know, the PS4 I'd like to play? Definitely, if they ever released a sequel to The Last of Us, I would play it. And I did think, well, should I wait until then to get the second console? I'm really glad I fucking didn't now. Because as it turns out, I'm now in favour of the PS4 over the Xbox One as my main console. The Xbox One is for the exclusives. Like this game, for example. Not being on the PS4. Nothing to do with resolution, frame rate, blah, blah, blah. But I'm obviously playing this on the Xbox One because it's not out on any other console. If it was, I'd get it on the PS4. Trust me. I've already wasted money on digital copies of Ghost for the Xbox One. I bought Battlefield 4 the day after I bought the Xbox One because I'd heard of all these problems people were having reading discs, and I thought, well, that's the last thing I want, is to have a fucking console and not realise for a good few months that the fucking disc drive wasn't working. So I went out and bought a game I didn't really fancy playing. I bought, out of all the games that came out, basically, the only one I could muster the enthusiasm to play was Battlefield. Turns out it was quite a bit of a laugh, and I believe Battlefield, ironically enough, is still only 900p on the PS4 as well. So that's not even full kind of high def, as I would call it. And I'm not interested in your upscaling. And I'm not interested in any of this, oh, but it's the game, it's the game. You shouldn't really worry about resolutions. That shouldn't bother you. Well, it fucking does. It does bother me. I've got the good fortune, I guess, to have both consoles plugged into the same television, have copies of the same game for both consoles, and actually see with my fucking eyeballs doing a taste test, if that's any way of describing it, and seeing a fucking difference. Not on Battlefield 4, but like, for example, Call of Duty, or what was the other game? Sure, there's another game I had on both consoles. Can't remember quite what it was now. But yeah, not very not very appealing, the fact that I'm paying the same price for a game that isn't running as smoothly and as nicely as it does on the PS4. And the reason why I haven't traded in the Xbox One is because of the amount of money I'd lose. Because I think it's only traded in for about £309 at the moment. I did check it out. And whilst I say I'm keeping it for exclusives, the one exclusive I was kind of waiting for, Titanfall, turned out to be a bit of a pile of shit for me. There's no single player game. There's no single player campaign for a game that they're trying to charge me full price for. The multiplayer's only got about fucking half a dozen people in there, which kind of reminds me of it. I just, when I played it, I thought, well, this is just like, wasn't Doom when it first came out fucking 4 versus 4 or something? I do wonder whether or not What's that fucking guy's name? Who's the guy dealing with Respawn Entertainment or whatever they're called? What's his name? Fucking Frank Zappa or something? I do wonder if given the choice of a large sack of cash from Sony and a large sack of cash from Xbox, which one he would have gone for if it meant his little sort of baby, his pride and joy, his first game after everything that went on with his Call of Duty franchise. I do wonder if he could have presented it in a much better 1080p kind of way. I'm not sure if that's actually possible on the PS4. Other games seem to have done it, but I don't know what other games with regards to 1080p and multiplayer. But after playing the beta of that, after realising there's no single player game, I just figured, you know what, for a full price game, you know, give it to me half price. Give it to me to $19.99. Give it to me $29.99. Fine. And don't expect me to pay any fucking season pass for DLC either. You know, or if you want to charge me full price for the game, make sure I don't have to pay you for extra fucking maps. That should not fucking come into it at all. You should not be expecting me to pay extra cash. Although, it has to be said, I do think what this guy has done is taken, you know, he's turned around and he said, oh, well, you know, 95% of the people who buy the game buy it for multiplayer only. That's fine. But it does reek a bit of money to me. Because no doubt, all of the Call of Duty sheep are going to flock to it with their fucking cash, going, oh, my friends are going to be playing it. You know, I can't think for myself. I'm going to run around and go shoot. It's like the king's new clothes. You know, no matter how many times I stand in the crowd and go, it's really not that special, mind. You know, it's overhyped. It's really not going to be that brilliant. It might be slightly different, but I think you're just jumping on the bandwagon because you feel as if you're not going to fit in with society. Fuck fitting in with society. I'd rather not fit in with society if it means I have to chuck money at some bloke who probably doesn't need to earn another fucking penny for the rest of his life for making a game that hasn't got a single player campaign, is aimed solely at the multiplayer, isn't even going to be running at a fucking decent resolution. Oh, do you know what? I'm fucking bored of listening to myself anyway. And none of you are fucking listening. None of you care. Nobody's going to fucking comment. Nobody's going to fucking like or subscribe just because I've ranted about being let down by Microsoft and the Xbox One. But it is a shame. It is a shame. It's a total shame. But there you go. I've still got the PS4, haven't I? And I could go and fucking play that. That, and is it rumoured now that the PS4 is going to have PS1 and PS2 compatibility? That might be nice. You know, the ability to sort of get rid of my older consoles would be of huge benefit to me. Now that would really truly be, you know, the one console to fucking rule them all. Even the user interface of the PS4. The user interface of the PS4 just feels like it's a fucking new generation console. It doesn't feel like an Xbox 360 fucking beta test. I mean, am I the only one out there who truly feels like the Xbox One is a fucking Kickstarter project and you've been given a fucking development console? Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't feel next gen. It feels more like 360 plus. Spectrum 48K plus, or something else. It doesn't feel like there's just no wow factor to it. I do like this game, and this quite frankly is the only game I really play on the Xbox One at the moment, because there's nothing else out there that I want to play. I did buy that Marvel Superheroes game, but I couldn't even adjust the camera. You know when you can adjust the camera to inverted or whatever you do? Didn't even have that option. And I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be the same on the PS4 as well. That's not console specific. That's just a fucking stupid little thing that should have been included in the game from day one. The ability to change the camera view. Anyway, like I said, it was a big thumbs up. The fact that I can just plug this in straight into the PV. Get the fuck off. I could just simply plug this in and not have to worry about trying to find a HDMI splitter, because that requires an extra power pack just to get that fucking splitter running. So that's an extra plug taken up. Has this little fucking bastard just fucking beaten me? This stupid little shitty car. Fucking hell.